the 3 levers that are within your control that you can pull to make more money and more sales on Poshmark, and really with reselling in general on any platform. If you're a part-time seller with a full-time job, you may have different constraints on your time and can only list a certain amount per day. I, though, choose not to put 35 listings in a day, even though I probably could do that. I don't want to. I don't want that size of a business, because if every day I list 10 items, but 6 months ago my sell-through rate was 10%, but now my sell-through rate is 30%, then I've increased my sell-through rate. I'm selling more of what I'm listing. Therefore, I'm making more sales and more money. Those are your 3 levers. If you pull on any of those and increase it, you should make more money. If you pull on all 3 of them and increase all 3 of them, you should make even more money. And you can do that. But because reselling is a lifestyle business, like I said, it's difficult. It's difficult to pull on all 3 of those levers all the time. Download your free reseller resource guide today. I constantly update and share with you discounts, favorites, tools, and resources to help you with your reselling business. After the video, click the link in the description and get your totally free guide today. Okay guys, buckle up. This one's going to be intense, but I think it's stuff you need to hear. Today we are going to talk about the 3 levers that are within your control that you can pull to make more money and more sales on Poshmark, and really with reselling in general on any platform. You guys know I focus mostly on Poshmark selling tips, so that's kind of what I'm going to say today, but you can apply this to any platform, of course. So the 3 levers that you have available to you are the number of listings that you put out every day. The second one is your average sales price, or ASP. And the third is your sell-through rate. So that's how many things you're selling as a percentage of how many things you're listing. And we'll go over that in a second. So I'm going to go through each of those 3 things. Then I'm going to kind of tell you what I think the pros and cons are of each one, because you could work on all of them. You could work on one and not the others, depending on your life. Reselling is a lifestyle business. So for me, I choose to pull on one lever more than another lever based on the way my life works. So I'm going to go through the pros and cons based on lifestyle of how you can pull these levers to make more money on Poshmark. And then I'm going to kind of tell you where I'm at with it in my business. So the first one is the number of listings that you do every day. Now, this is assuming that you're a daily lister. There's lots of different thoughts out there about should you list every day, list in bulk, blah, 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 blah. I try to consistently list a certain amount every day. And that number has changed over time, depending on what's going on with my business. Most of the time, I have a photographer and a virtual assistant to do my drafts for me. So most of the time, it's just how many items can I get, and those people do the work for me, and those listings happen, and they go up like clockwork. So for me, it might be a little bit different than you. If you're a part-time seller with a full-time job, you may have different constraints on your time and can only list a certain amount per day. I, though, choose not to put 35 listings in a day, even though I probably could do that. I don't want to. I don't want that size of a business. So I've always kind of fluctuated somewhere between 5 listings a day on the low side and 15 listings a day on the high side. Next week, I'm actually going to challenge myself. I'm in between photographers right now, so I'm going to see if I can do 20 per day myself. We'll see. If I do it and then I'm like, but I actually hate it. So we'll see. I'll let you know. So the number of listings that you put up per day depends on your lifestyle situation, but it is something that controls the amount of sales you get, right? Because if you put up 10 listings a day instead of 5 listings a day, chances are you're going to make more sales because you have more items available, because you have more activity going on, because of many, many, many variables. So I don't think it's a question that if you list more, you can potentially sell more. So we're going to leave that there, as that's one of the levers that you can pull. You can list more. We'll come back to it when we kind of work through everything. Now, the next thing is your average sales price. So this is, on average, how much are you selling an item for? So if I sold 10 items today and that totaled in $100 in sales, my average sales price is $10. If I sold 10 items today and my average sales price is $1,000, then if I sold 10 items today and then I sold in total $1,000, then my average sales price is $100. So this is over the course of time. You can easily check this if you go into your Poshmark. This will tell you earnings, so what you earned. It's not going to tell you sales, but it's going to tell you earnings. You can easily check it by going to My Posh Stats, and you will see sold listings, how many, and total earnings, how much. And so you could easily get an average earnings from this. And you could use that as your average sales price because that's after fees, after shipping discounts, it's what you earned. And so you may want to use that as your metric. I kind of say average sales price, kind of generally speaking. For my numbers, most of the time I'm going off of earnings because I just like to check this real quick and I can see what my average sales price is. And then also like generally on a daily, weekly, monthly, as I kind of look at my numbers, I can scroll through and easily get an average of where I'm at and I kind of know what's going on. So that's neither here nor there. So average sales price is one of the things that you can change to help you make more money, right? Because if I sell higher value items and have higher value sales, therefore giving me a higher average sales price, I'm going to make more money. If 6 months ago I sold 10 items and my sales was $100, so my average sales price was $10 a sale, and now I'm selling 10 items, but my total sales are $1,000, and my average sales price is $100, I increased my average sale price from $10 to $100, and now I'm making a lot more money than I did when my average sales price was $10. So that is a lever that you can pull to make more money. We're going to put that there. We're going to go on to the next one, and then we're going to cycle everything through where it all makes sense. So sell-through rate. Posher VA is a tax-deductible business investment that pays for itself many times over each month. It increases Poshmark sales because it shares and sends offers more than I ever could manually. It handles all my shares, automatic offer to likers, bulk offers, and it can do price drops and relists. When my coaching clients add Posher VA, it makes more sales basically immediately. The best part is that you get your time back. More time with family, thrifting, whatever. Get 20% off with code Rebecca the Reseller and the link below. Sell-through rate is how much I list and the percentage of how much I sell from how much I list. Now, there's lots of different calculations out there. I like to keep everything really simple. And so for me, I go ahead and do, if I list 10 items today and I on average sell 5, that's a 50% sell-through rate. I'm selling half of what I'm listing. If I list 10 items today and on average I sell 3, now I'm at about a 30% sell-through rate because I'm selling 3 out of 10. If I list 10 items a day and I only sell 1 on average, which means like sometimes I sell 2, sometimes I sell none for a few days, sometimes I sell 1, and you average out to 1 sale per day out of 10 that you list per day, then that's a 10% sell-through rate. So increasing your sell-through rate, selling more of what you list, will help you make more money. Because if every day I list 10 items, but 6 months ago my sell-through rate was 10%, but now my sell-through rate is 30%, then I've increased my sell-through rate. I'm selling more of what I'm listing, therefore I'm making more sales and more money. So that's the third thing. So again, to recap, we have number of listings, we have average sale price, and we have sell-through rate. Those are your 3 levers. If you pull on any of those and increase it, you should make more money. If you pull on all 3 of them and increase all 3 of them, you should make even more money. And you can do that. But because reselling is a lifestyle business, like I said, it's difficult. It's difficult to pull on all 3 of those levers all the time. So in the beginning, when you're first starting out, you could easily pull on all 3 of those levers because you're at such a new stage that you're going to need all kinds of improvements. So If you're just starting, like when I did, I was selling $10 or $15 items. Then I started selling $35 items. Then I started only listing $50 items. And that's where I'm at now. So I've increased my average sales price from like barely $10 all the way up to now my average sales price is really around $35. So that's a big increase, and that helped me make more money. That helped me go from, among other things, not a six-figure reseller to a six-figure reseller. So increasing your average sales price, increasing the item value can help you make more money. You're new and you're selling low-value stuff. That's easy for you to do. When you're new and you're only listing a couple a day, because it takes you a long time, and now you get faster and easier and you make processes and systems and you can go up to 5 or 10 per day, you've increased your listings amount, and that's easy for you to do potentially. The last thing is sell-through rate, which really also can come with time too. If you're new and takes 3 weeks for you to get your first sale, then a week goes by, then you get your second sale, then 2 months later you get 3 sales in a week. Then, 2 months down the road, you get 5 sales in a week, and it just kind of snowballs from there. Your sell-through rate is increasing, and so you're able to increase that metric. So that's kind of like a new person. But if you're somebody in the middle who's been doing this, 6 months or a year, you've already kind of made those initial gains. You're still learning, but most of that beginning learning is over. And so now you're kind of at the point where you're like, okay, Rebecca, I'm ready to pull on some levers here. I want to do what you say. What should I do to increase my sales? So then you have to look at yourself and your business and what's manageable for you. So increasing the number of listings is totally a way that you could make more sales, but you may not have the time for that. As I said before, you might be a part-time seller with a full-time job and a family or not, caregiver or not, and you have lots of things, lots of hobbies and lots of other obligations perhaps. You may not have the time to increase your listings. So you might say, listen, I put up 5 a day. That's my max. I cannot put up any more. So 5 a day is going to stay. Okay. What else can I do? All right. Well, number of listings lever is at its max. We can't do any more than 5 a day. Fine. Let's move on to the next lever, average sales price. Can you make some headway here? Well, if you go to the bins and you're just kind of picking the best stuff that you can out of the bins, you might be able to put in some more criteria to say, I'm only going to pick higher value stuff and leave the lower value stuff behind. You could do that. Or you could go to the thrift store, retail thrift store, and say, okay, I'm going to only buy the best stuff. I'm going to leave the lower end stuff behind. You could do that. Or you could say, I'm only going to focus on higher end bulk boxes from Helpsy Source. Use my code 10% off, Rebecca the Reseller. But that may or may not get you there. So average sales price might be something that you can toggle, but it might not be. So you might have to say, I'm going to try, but that's not really going to be where I can make my headway. So I can't do any more listings than 5. I'll try to do the best I can on average sales price, but the way I get items is the way I get items, and there's really not anything I can do about it, which I don't totally believe, but I'll give you a pass. So now we move on to the third metric, which is the sell-through rate. Well, this is potentially something that you can really hone in on. You could send out more offers, different offers. I have lots of videos on my offer to liker strategy and what you can do to get more sales that way. You can share more. I have lots of videos on that. You can use My Shoppers. I have videos on that. You can do a relisting strategy. You can do a price dropping strategy with a relisting strategy. You can add everyday promotions. You can take items out of your online store and then sell them in a different way, but you get them sold and still make profit. So there are lots of things that you can do that can influence your sell-through rate and make it go up. So if you were only selling, let's say, 3 out of 10 items a day, and you're at a 30% sell-through rate, and now you put a bunch of these strategies in place, and that gets you up to a 50% sell-through rate. Now you're selling 5 out of 10 items a day. Then that's going to make you more money because now you've sold more than what you used to sell. So that might be your ticket, right? That might be the thing that you can do to help you increase more money. Now, once you do that, you might say, well, okay, I can't increase the number of listings. I can't increase the average sales price. I've increased my sell-through rate from, 30 to 50%. I don't think I'm going to get much better than that. Now I'm kind of stuck. Well, now you go back to all three of them and you say, what else can I do? And the next thing I would say to that is, you're going to need to list an item or two more every day, and that will give you a bump. So you go from 5 listings a day and you squeeze out a 6th listing a day or a 7th listing a day. Now that's going to raise you. Okay, once you've done that, now you go back to your 3 levers again. Okay, I've got a 50% sell-through rate. I went from 5 listings a day to 7 listings a day, and now I really can't do anymore. The only way I'm going to make more money is pulling on the middle lever, which is the average sales price. That's when you need to start really being disciplined about your sourcing, and you're only going to list $50 items. If you're at $50 items, maybe you're going to only list $60 items or $75 items. So there's always an incremental way that you can target in and zero in on what is going to make you more money and make you more sales. And I say both of them interchangeably because just because you make more sales doesn't really mean you're going to make more money. And just because you're making more money doesn't mean that you were making more sales. It could be a combination of all of those things. But I think that if you are a person where you feel like you have more that you can get out of your reselling business, but you're not sure what to do to make that happen, this is a really good framework. And you just keep cycling through each of these levers and do what you can to incrementally max out each one. And which one you focus on first is going to differ from person to person, because let's say you quit your job or you're in between jobs or whatever, and you don't have a time constraint and you could list more, then maybe that is your biggest area for growth, and you don't worry so much about your sell-through rate right now, and you don't worry so much about your average sales price right now. Don't forget to stop by the Rebecca the Reseller Academy, where you can find all of the products and all of the educational tools I have available for you, including all the free goodies. Here you can find coaching calls, Poshmark closet reviews, digital downloads, including my free reseller resource guide, as well as all of my courses and all of the bundles to save you lots of money. Hope you'll stop by soon at the Rebecca the Reseller Academy. Maybe you worry about cranking out those listings, and just by sheer volume, you're going to make more money because you're putting more, hooks in the water, and fish are going to bite and sales are going to happen. I'm not even a fisherman. I don't know why that's my analogy, but that's a possibility. Or you could say, I do have more time, so instead of listing more, I'm going to use that time to be a more disciplined sourcer. So maybe I'll go to the thrift store and I'll spend an extra hour there, really just only looking up comps and picking out the best items that definitely can list for $50 or more, or whatever your criteria is that's higher than what you were doing. And maybe the extra time you spend is based in average sales price, and that's where you focus because you don't want to do more than however many listings you're doing, or sell-through rate. So again, it's different for everyone. These are things that I talk about in my coaching calls a lot because I get to know the person and kind of what their situation is. And then I look at their Poshmark closet and I see where they're at. And then we kind of come up with a plan that is doable for them so that they can pull on each of these levers in the most, the order that makes the most sense for them, for their life and for their business, and where they need help and where they think they can have the most impact. For some people, it's going to be just list more stuff. For other people, it's going to be find better stuff. For other people, it's going to be sell more of the stuff you already have. And for others, it's going to be all three of them, and you just pick which order you focus on them. I'm having trouble with words today. Pick what order you focus on it. So that's kind of the main goal here, is to pull on all of these levers, to analyze which one you're going to target in, and find out where you can make the most impact in your business. That's going to vary from person to person. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit of kind of what I'm doing. So I'll back up for a second and just let you know, back in the day, Pre-pandemic, I sold $10 to $15 items. I was probably doing 5 to 10 listings a day, and I wasn't making a lot of money. And so when that was all going on, it's like a little bit like 2018 kind of time frame. So pre-pandemic. And so when I decided, after the pandemic, when I decided to kind of refocus on my store again, refocus on Poshmark, because I kind of put it all away while I homeschooled Gio. When I did that, I decided that instead of listing more, I was going to focus on average sales price. I couldn't focus on sell-through rate at that time because I had gotten rid of all of my inventory and I was literally starting from scratch again. So when I first started from scratch, I said I'm only going to focus on $35 listings. So I first focused on average sales price because I felt like since I was starting from scratch, I had nothing in my store, I could only put $35 items in. That was something I could control. I couldn't control how many I could do because my time was still limited. And so average sales price was where I focused on. And that's what I did. And I put in $35 items. I didn't do that many listings. Sell-through was in the crapper because I was just getting going again. Then that started to pick up. And so I kept my listings amount the same because you guys know I do content and all these other things. So I never felt like I could do more listings. I was always at a 5 to 10 number per day. That was always really a good spot for me. Then I went ahead and went from $35 sale price to $50 sale price. As I was doing that, I was also starting to then turn my attention to sell-through rate. And I started developing all the strategies that I share with you guys now. My offer to liker strategy, my sharing formulas, the way I do my shoppers as that came out, like all the different things that I do to push and sell and influence the sale of my items. All my selling strategies I developed and increased my sell-through rate. And now I'm like at a 50% sell-through rate on average. I mean, there are weeks where it's more like 30%, but it's between 30 and 50. Most of the time I average on 50. So 50% sell-through rate, which I feel like is really good. I don't know if you can get much better than that selling regular thrifted items. Now I've raised my ASP to 50. So really the only place I can go is listing more items. So that's why now I'm starting to turn my attention to, all right, I went from 5 to 10, then I upped it to 15 for a while when I had my old photographer. Now I'm in between photographers, so I'm going to try to do 20 a day myself. We're going to test this out next week and see how that feels. If I feel okay with it, I may just do it for a while myself and then hire a photographer in a little while. We're coming up to the holidays. Like, I don't really want to deal with it that much. You might be seeing this video later because I batch do my things, but in my real life right now, it's October. So I'm coming up on the holidays. I don't want to hire somebody now. So that's where I am kind of stuck, right? I have a pretty good sell-through rate. There's really not too much else I can do here. I try to fine tune it, but there's not much I can do here. I have raised my average sales price, to 35. So I used to list $35 items and have like a $20 average sales price. Now I list items at $50. I have a $35 average sale price. I really like this sweet spot. I could raise my average sales price. I could focus on listing $100 items and get a $50 sales price. And maybe I would in the future, but right now I really like the kind of items that I sell. I feel really comfortable with it. I think it's a good price point. I think it's manageable. And so I could increase it, but I think that might change a lot of things when I do, and I'm not familiar with that. And so I'm not ready to make that leap yet. So I'm going to stick with the list for 50, sell for 35-ish kind of average sales price model, keep the 50% sell-through rate model. And so then the only lever I can pull to make more is to increase my number of listings. And that's where I'm going to focus now. So you see how I kind of over time have focused on one. Once I got that good, then I focused on another. And every time you feel like you reach your max, if you're still looking for more sales, more money, then you can go ahead and turn your attention to a different lever and re-max it out. So I thought I was maxed at 5 to 10 a day. Then I re-maxed it to 15. Now I'm going to try to remax it to 20. When I get to that point, I might then shift my attention to average sales price. And instead of maxing it at $50 listing price, I might turn my attention to $100 listing price. So I'm not ready to make that leap yet, but you see what the process is. And that's really the whole point of this video, was to say, okay, if you can't do this yourself, I'm always available for coaching calls. You can find it in the Rebecca the Reseller Academy. The link to my free reseller resource guide is down below, and that's where you can get the academy. So I'm always happy to help you with this if you have trouble doing it. But I wanted to give you the tools to do it yourself and say, there are these 3 levers. These are the 3 that you can focus on. You can tackle each one according to your own unique situation. And when you max it out, you turn your attention to the next one. And if you get to the point where you're good with your business, then you don't have to change anything and you just keep doing what you're doing, unless you find that market conditions change and you need to react to that. And that's sometimes something that we have to do. So I think that I'll leave this video here because I really just wanted to communicate this point of the 3 levers. Let me know in the comments below if this is something that you found helpful or interesting. The other thing is, people have asked me more about sell-through rate. So if you want to see a video specifically about how to calculate your sell-through rate, what to do about sell-through rate to increase it, and tactics and strategies that I use for a sell-through rate, comment sell-through rate down below so that I can make that video for you. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.